Hey everybody, it's Harry from Sabe Daddy BBQ, the YouTube channel that teaches you how to master barbecue so you can spread barbecue love. I have a treat for you today because you guys have seen me cook my mangalista pork episodes. I'm going to be cooking a mangalista pork butt, approximately about 8 pounds. We're going to do a scratch-made fiery sweet peach rub. Show you guys how a rub is made from scratch. In case you don't want to buy my rubs, that's okay. We're going to show you how to make a rub from scratch. We're going to cook it hot and fast between 325 to 350 degrees in the pit. We're going to show you guys how to get it set up so that you don't burn your meat to achieve a final result for pork perfection with a mangalista pork butt. Let's make our fiery sweet peach rub. And you can dehydrate your own peaches, or you can go ahead and buy it in a box. Either way works fine. I decided that it's faster to just get a pack of dried peaches. What you want to do is you want to slice it so that it's kind of in smaller pieces. If you like this knife I'm using, this is a Dalstrong Santoku. And if you can look at the Amazon link in the description, you can get one of these knives. They're super duper handy. Super sharp. So I'm just cutting the dehydrated peaches into small cubes. We put it into a blender. So make a dry rub. Kind of counterintuitive, but we'll show you what happens here. I'm going to put in about 1 tablespoon of kosher salt. Kind of heaping tablespoon of kosher salt. Add some sweet. I'm going to add a little bit of powdered honey. You can get this in a Korean store. Oops. About 1 heaping tablespoon. This is common in Asian grocery stores, especially Korean grocery stores. So I'm fortunate I live in Los Angeles and it's very easy to find powdered honey. But if you don't have powdered honey, you can add a little bit of brown sugar or white sugar, works just as well. 1 heaping tablespoon of regular white sugar, 1 tablespoon of Spanish paprika, and I'm going to add some chili California. So for those of you who are not aware what this is actually called the Anaheim chili. If you ever had chili rellenos, this is what they do with chili rellenos. When the chili gets ripe, it turns red and it has a great flavor and texture. This is milder and sold fresh, dried. It's also in a can or it's roasted. These grow about 5 to 6 inches. And for those chili heads out there, these are not too spicy. They are about 2,000 Scoville units on the scale. Whether it's a green or used for chili rellenos, it's one of my favorite Mexican dishes is the chili relleno. When it dries, it morphs into something called the California chili, and this is used to make enchilada sauce and for tamales. And it has actually a lot of health benefits, believe it or not. It's shown to mitigate any kind of cardiovascular disease. Also, I've heard it's good for arthritis, diabetes, and cholesterol. So we're gonna put a little bit of this in here. Put it up, let it go. Now you can use the seeds or not. I prefer to use the seeds. I'm going to put a whole chili California in here. Has a fantastic flavor. For spiciness, since it's a fiery peach, we're going to get this in here with the seeds included. And add about 1 teaspoon of black pepper. One teaspoon of granulated garlic. About ½ teaspoon of cayenne pepper, more or less if you want it spicy. So those were the 9 ingredients, and I'm going to add the last one, which is a little bit of accent, which is MSG. Yay much, maybe about quarter teaspoon. Now I already know that a lot of you are going to be telling me, Harry, that's MSG. Yes, I know. So if you are wondering what this is, whether it's safe for you to use, please watch my very lengthy video on what is MSG. I'll leave the link in the description below. If you don't want to make your own fiery sweet peach rub, you can actually get the peaches and blend it with any of the rubs that you like, any favorite rubs. if I want to blend the peach into the rub, it'll make the rub sort of have a wonderful peach flavor that's good for any kind of pork or chicken dish. We have our ingredients in here. We're ready to make our fiery sweet peach rub. It's important to pulse it a few times to break up the rub. And once you're done, you're going to get an absolutely gorgeous fiery sweet peach rub. The end result is you get a beautiful orange colored peach rub that looks like this. And I'm going to give it a little taste. Check for the saltiness. Absolutely spot on. Just the right amount of saltiness, just a hint of heat. Actually, a lot of heat because I use quite a lot of cayenne pepper because I'm making a fiery version. If you don't like a fiery version, just skip the cayenne. You should be okay with the paprika and the California chili. Those are not spicy. And also you can lower the pepper if you don't like spicy. I know some folks don't like spicy. That's okay. I like spicy. So I put quite a lot of cayenne in here. It has a nice, wonderful warmth in it going down the throat. So this makes about almost 1 cup of rub using the recipe I showed you. Let's do a light trim on the mangalista pork butt. I'm going to use a Del Strong boning knife here. And we're going to sharpen it with the rapid steel sharpener. And if you're looking for one of these things, you can find it on my Amazon store, link in the description. This is a great tool because not only does it sharpen, it also hones the knife all in one action. Super convenient. Wherever I cook contest and I travel around the world, I always bring this with me because it's such a handy tool. Keep your knives really sharp. Always throw away the packaging and never wash your meat in the sink because it's very toxic. Just throw away the packaging that has the purge in it. The mangalista butt has fantastic marbling, as you can see from all the striations and the fat on the meat here. Look at how beautiful that is here. Look at the amount of white fat interspersed very evenly into the meat. This is the area here called pectoralis profundi. It is the piece of the muscle that's always opposite the bone end of the pork butt. And looks absolutely gorgeous. You can see the amount of marbling all over the meat. Absolutely beautiful. We're ready to season the pork butt and using the peach spicy sweet rub we made. I'm going to add a little bit of a schmear. A schmear is nothing more than a little bit of product to make the surface tacky so that the rub will stick. A lot of people like to use mustard. Yellow mustard is fine, but I find that Lee & Perrins Worcestershire sauce is actually better. It has a lot of umami flavor and you're not going to be able to taste this sauce when you're done cooking the pork butt. I like the one from England, so this is the one from England because it's a British condiment. The one from America is made in Philadelphia. It does not have the same flavor. I actually prefer the one from the UK, but if you can't find this, go ahead and use the Lee & Perrins Worcestershire sauce from America, and that's okay. All we need to do is make the surface a little bit wet, so it's a little bit tacky, so that we can make the rub stick. I'm gonna wet the surface. See, put a little bit of rub on the fat cap here. Steve from mangalista@says.com sent me these pork butts. I purchased a large order of different kinds of mangalista meats from them. And the pork butt is something that I wanted to try to see what the flavor was. If you look at my channel, there will be other videos on the mangalista ribs, mangalista pork belly, and mangalista brisket and the butt. These hogs are actually known as woolly pigs because they have a wool-like hair. It's known as the Kobe beef of pork because of the highly fat marbled meat. They are actually recognized as heritage swine breeds, very high in something called oleic acid. If oleic acid sounds familiar, that's the same acid that you find on Kobe beef. And what the oleic acid does, it provides a very nice flavor. It's kind of an oiliness, we call it unctuousness, that is very pleasing. The pork is really exceptionally juicy, very tender and very marbled. And chefs all across America rave about this meat as the flavor is unbeatable. And it's not that easy to find, but if you can find it, these mangalistas that I'm cooking now were actually originally imported from Eastern Europe. by a person named Heath Putman, who of woolly pigs in the early 2000s began to raise them for American consumption. This breed actually is very famous, and I believe it was created around the 1930s by some kind of crossbreeding program done by a Hungarian royal archduke. His name is Joseph. So a little bit of trivia about the Mangalista but it's fun to be able to know a lot about the product, the tradition, and the culture of the foods that you are cooking. According to Steve, these are special Mangalista pigs that are fed an entirely vegetarian diet with no antibiotics. They grow them pretty big, to about 400 pounds. Most hogs in America, they don't raise them to that size. The normal land-raised breed that you find in a commodity pork in a grocery store, those are raised to be between about 230 to 285 pounds. You guys have heard me say many times, Harry like big butt, he cannot lie. So I tend to buy pork shoulders, pork butts around kind of like the 8 to 9 pound range, because I'm a competitor. I think big pork butts taste better, they actually cook better. So I no shame to say I like big butts, and I cannot lie. These Mangalistas are special because they are finished on oats and barley in the last 8 weeks of their life, so the meat has absolutely fantastic flavor. We're done seasoning the rub, and for those of you who want to wonder how much rub is needed, that's the entire portion of rub we made. We used about a 3/4 cup of rub that we just made, the sweet fiery peach rub, to fit 1 pork butt. So if you have more than 1 pork butt, adjust my recipe amounts accordingly, and you'll be able to coat your butt. Notice how thick it's got to be, because this is a very big piece of meat. It takes a lot of seasoning to be able to have the flavors penetrate. At this point, you can cook it right away, but I prefer to let it sit in the refrigerator so that the flavors can penetrate the meat. Ideally, I want to do at least 4 hours, but if you want to do this overnight, the day before your party, that also works really well. Our Weber kettle has come up to temp, and the way you can tell is you can touch it, and if it's like a quarter second or half second, it is hot enough. Right now, based on my feel, this feels like it's about probably 450. So it's a little hot, but we'll get this started because the meat is really cold, and we'll get it down to settle at around 350-ish, plus or minus 25 degrees on each side. We'll do a hot and fast pork butt. Ready to go. Looks absolutely gorgeous after an overnight marinade in the refrigerator. We'll pop it in the kettle and cook it hot and fast. I'm going to use some citrus wood, orange wood from Patty Sharp from the woodshed in Orange County. She supplies me with these chunks of wood that are barkless and super well seasoned wood, ready to go into the pit. Lift up the coals. Stick the wood under, put the coals back on top. Alright, this is how we set it up. Right in the cool zone here with the hot zone, wood chunks underneath the coals. And we're gonna run the damper or the exhaust right in the middle, so that you're gonna get a nice airflow circulation going this way and then going this way. Okay, so you want to make sure that the vent is always on the middle of the 2 hot zones to create a cool zone. Ready to go. This is pretty hot now. It's about 450, but it's gonna calm down a little bit. I'm gonna shut my vents down to minimal vent, to almost closed. Let it temper down a little bit, and it will be all settled at around 350-ish, 375. The kettle is running smoothly, and it's calmed down from the 400 or 450 we started with, and now it feels like it's about probably about 350-ish. And let's take a look and give it a spray. Absolutely gorgeous bark here. Let's see. Crust. Wow, crust has set is super fast. Look at that. See? Almost there. Give it a spray of water. Set the bark. Complete the Maillard reaction here. I'm just spraying plain water. It's good enough. And this hot and fast Mangalista butt is coming along fine with the fiery sweet peach rub. And once we set the crust, we're gonna go ahead and wrap it with some of peach butter, brown sugar mix that I'm gonna show you how to make. And we're gonna pop this into the foil and let it cook until it's absolutely gonna be Mangalista perfection. Let's check on the butt, see how it's doing. Looks absolutely gorgeous. Let me check the crust. Okay, so this is a hot and fast method, and it's kind of an advanced technique, but you can see that the crust has set. I'm touching it and I'm doing the scratch test, and none of the crust is falling off, so it's ready to proceed to the next phase. We are at about 1 hour and about 25 minutes. So it took about an hour and 25 minutes to get this point where it's ready to foil. I'm checking the crust all over, make sure that the crust is set. It looks like it's very nicely set. Let's remove it and put a mop on it and show you guys how it looks like before it goes into more BTU. Once you set the crust, you can BTU it in your kettle and use up fuel, or you can BTU it in your oven. Doesn't really matter, because once you wrap it up, the meat is not going to know nor care where the heat is coming from. Show you guys how to make a nice butter brown sugar peach mop to go with this wonderful fiery sweet peach rub Mangalista butt. I'm warming up half a stick of butter, about 4 tablespoons of brown sugar to bake the mop for the Mangalista butt. I have here with me some peach nectar. Probably put enough to melt it, probably about maybe a 1/4 cup or so. Add a little bit of rub for salt, a little bit of hot sauce or spice, as much or as little as you want. The taste test, make sure it's salty enough. Ooh, that's really good. Let's put our peach brown sugar butter mop on it. Smells so good here. So if you apply the mop now and your rub falls off, what mistake have you made? You didn't wait long enough for the crust to set. Under today's condition on the Weber kettle, we set the crust in about 1 hour and 25 minutes, and we're gonna put it and get some more BTU. I'm gonna set it for about 325. When you set the BTU during the fall phase, you gotta ask yourself the question, what temperature are you doing your foil phase? If you do it higher, then you need more liquid. If you do it lower, you need less liquid. So these are things that you need to know when you cook. Don't just cook using like a robot, using kind of just automaton or recipes. So in this case, I'm going to cook it a little bit faster because I'm a little bit impatient. I want to taste the Mangalista butt. We started at 450, shut the vent down. We brought it down to about 400, and then it was kind of like ending up around 375. That's why I can get a crust so fast. So you got to get in tune with your meat so that it is cooked exactly with perfect technique. Now, because I'm going to run the second stage hotter, I don't have enough liquid. So I'm going to add a little bit of the peach nectar. I'm going to add a little bit more peach nectar because I want to fill this up so that there's a 1/2 inch of liquid at the bottom. So in order for it not to leak, I built myself a little foil boat. So these are the black belt tips that you can follow when you want to cook so that you don't cook like an automaton. It's been a couple of hours. Let's go ahead and check the Mangalista butt. More minutes. 180 degrees, getting there. Pork butt is done, and it's a probe tender. We take a bamboo skewer, we poke it, and it feels soft. That means it's done. You don't need a thermometer, but you guys want to see what it says. Alright, today is done at about 190 or so. So temperature is not a good guide. Always use a bamboo skewer. You will become much more successful and more consistent in your results to get perfect tenderness. fun part. Get to taste all this wonderful food. Let's sample some of the mussels and give you the overall impression of how a Mangalista pork butt tastes like with this fiery scratch-made peach rub. Let me try the money mussel first. Pick a nice piece here. Much better. That's really good. Money mussel tastes like pork. I get hints of the rub coming through. A little bit of spice, a little bit of smoke. Just great pork flavor. I'm gonna eat the scapula mussel here, which is the muscle within the horn here, called scapula, or the collarbone. You have the similar type of structure on your body. Completely different flavor than the money mussel. Just a slight hint of gaminess, but really good eating from the scapula. Let's try the spaghetti strands, which looks like this. Spaghetti strands, which looks like this. Pretty good. Let's eat the spaghetti from the bottom of the belly. These are some of the best eating parts of a hog. Like this one here. Good, delicious. Let me try some of the different mussels. Shredded together. You know, this rub really is very good. It does work with pork, with peach, sweet peach rub. Maybe I should add this to my lineup here. I think the Step Daddy rubs need a little bit of variety, and add some of the peach flavor to it, like a peach rub for pork and ribs. So I've eaten my way through all the different mussels here. There's a lot of mussels to eat here. Overall, Mangalista pork, super duper tasty. If you never tried Mangalista pork, you gotta add it to your list of different kinds of heritage breeds to eat. Of course, I'm not the final judge. Mr. Beans is patiently waiting for me. I'm going to give her a selection of the different pieces to see if he likes this Mangalista style heritage pork butt. Alright Beans, I have you some Mangalista pork today. Give it a shot here. This heritage breed is from Hungary, from Europe. Go ahead, go eat. Go Beans. Go. Go. Alright, he's checking out the Mangalista pork. Eating some of the money mussel first. He knows where the good stuff is. Going for the scapula next. Some of the trapezoidus next. Moving on to the spaghetti mussel. And getting some of the other chunks from the butt. And I think he's signaling a thumbs up. Thanks for watching my Mangalista pork butt episode with the homemade fiery sweet peach rub made from scratch. I hope from this video you are not going to be intimidated cooking an expensive piece of meat, because I showed you how. Taught you guys also how to make a rub from scratch. If you don't want to buy your rub from the store, you can make a wonderful fruit flavored rub. You can also take the dried fruit and mix it with any of your favorite rubs to create your own style of a peach rub, a cherry rub, a pecan rub, a macadamia nut rub. The possibilities are endless. If you guys like to see me do more videos like this where we make the product from scratch instead of resorting to a bottle you can buy in the store, let me know in the description below. If you guys want to ask questions about how Mangalista pork is cooked or pork butt in general, please ask those questions. Be happy to answer them when I can. I want to give a shout out to all my Patreons whose sponsorship have made these projects possible. You guys know that YouTube doesn't provide a lot of revenue, but with the Patreon help, I'm able to provide free content on YouTube because my patrons have been sponsoring my channel to cover the production costs, so we can all learn and take the journey of barbecue together and spread barbecue love in this world. Thanks for stopping by. Please like, subscribe, and share, and we'll see you guys in the next video.